Your story starts when you were told to vacate your home at 239 East 7th Street or risk it crumbling to the ground. Take us back to that evening when you got that call in January 2002.
Well, it was quite a dramatic moment, but it had a certain amount of buildup because we've been living in this row house, and we owned a co-op, and it was 3 stories, and it had problems developing over a certain number of months. There was some sinking in the basement, and we had leaks in the roof, and at one point we had, sort of the water trickling through the light fixtures when it rained. And so we were becoming kind of increasingly uneasy with the condition of the building, although it looked fine when we moved in. And ultimately, the real worry was this crack that opened up in the facade, and it sort of slowly made its way up the front of the building. And in fact, there was a corresponding crack on the inside of our apartment. So we thought, gee whiz, is this building actually, what's going to happen? So we and our co-owners hired this group of, an engineer and an architect to go and give us kind of the fill on what was going on and what we should do to fix it. And when they got underneath the basement and looked at the foundation, the verdict was actually, it's not a question of what you're going to do to fix it. It's you need to get out right now. There was one family in particular whose story very much moved me. There was one woman in the late 19th century named Rachel Hart, whose parents had bought the house in 1870, and she was in her early 20s, and she'd been married and had 2 children in very quick succession down below house in Lower Manhattan, and she lost her husband to diphtheria, and so she took her 2 little babies and moved into 239 with her parents. Her father was a glazier, and her mother was also a German immigrant from Bavaria. So she raised these children in the house, and I felt a real connection with her because I, too, of course, had raised my children were about the same age as hers when I first encountered them, if you see what I mean.